On my order be actually guru, but by my order.
On my order. हमारा आज्ञा गुरु हो ये. He actually guru, but by my order.
This is a very clear and essential instruction given by Srila Prabhupada. It is by his order that one can become the actual guru, not by his disappearance alone. That was the real point that Srila Prabhupada was making. While it is a formality that one should not become guru in his presence, in the presence of one's own guru, it is not automatically that one becomes guru when your guru is no longer present. If that were the only criterion, then every one of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's disciples would have become bona fide guru, and every one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples would have become bona fide guru with no other criteria needed. It wouldn't matter if they stopped chanting, if they stopped following the four regulative principles. They can smoke ganja or snort cocaine. They can eat meat. They can enjoy sex with other devotees' wives. They can molest their own daughters or engage in homosexual. They could do or commit any sort of offenses and sinful actions, still become guru once their guru is no longer present. Obviously, just that one's guru is no longer present is not the one and only criteria. That was the real point that Srila Prabhupada was making here. Yes, while he is present, that is a given that the Ritviks will initiate on his behalf. But after he has departed, they will continue to do so, as he had already answered that part of the question when they asked him about initiations after he has departed, and Prabhupada said he'd appoint Ritviks. That he had already addressed. He had already addressed after he is no longer present. So while he's present, it's obvious, it's a given. And after he's disappeared, yes, they will continue to do on his behalf, because he had already said officiating Ritviks. But to become an actual guru, he had never said anything about that yet. How will these men become actual guru? And that's why he's making this point. It requires his direct personal order. On my order, be actually guru, but by my order. Here's an excerpt from a lecture on Bhagavad Gita, 7.2. It was given in Nairobi, October 28th, 1975.
Asking, when did you begin to become the spiritual leader of Krishna consciousness?
What is that?
Well, he's asking, when did you become the spiritual leader of Krishna consciousness?
When my Guru Maharaj ordered me. This is the Guru Parampara. Try to understand, don't go very speedily. A Guru can become Guru when he is ordered by his Guru, that's all. Otherwise, nobody can become Guru.
A guru can become guru when he's ordered by his guru. That's all. Otherwise, nobody can become guru.
A Guru can become Guru when he is ordered by his Guru, that's all. Otherwise, nobody can become Guru. A Guru can become Guru when he is ordered by his Guru, that's all. Otherwise, nobody can become Guru. Nobody can become Guru.
This recording has been slightly edited for the presentation to hear and read the entire unedited. You can click on the link. It is now that His Divine Grace has changed his focus in this conversation for the remaining part of the conversation. He's no longer speaking about those he will select as Ritviks, but he is now focused on those whom he will, at some day, he will give his order to. It is those who he will have given his order to, they will become actual gurus. He did this because ever since he announced he would be leaving soon, he never discussed how the next guru will come. When he was asked about selecting who he's going to select as the next Acharya, Srila Prabhupada only spoke of setting up a Ritvik system by which he would remain the initiating guru within his ISKCON mission. Therefore, he was wanting to now inform them how the next guru will come. On my order. Be actually guru, but by my order. These are two totally separate topics that Srila Prabhupada is speaking of, two separate groups of entities. To become the actual guru, his divine order, the divine order of the guru must be given first. Without that divine and direct order, no one can become guru, period. However, both Satsvarup and Tamal Krishna totally misunderstood the point that Srila Prabhupada was making, and they got completely confused after this point in the conversation, just as they had totally missed the 5 key words and their impact on this issue. They totally missed the point that Srila Prabhupada was making here also. Just as they didn't hear the 5 key words, they also didn't hear, on my order. Instead, they thought Srila Prabhupada had said, on my disappearance. And there is hard evidence that proves that these men thought like this. I will present that evidence after the analysis on this meeting. Spoiler alert. Okay, so let me briefly say how confused they were. Basically, what the official GBC record of this meeting states is that Srila Prabhupada would soon select some men and they would become regular gurus. The person who wrote that GBC record of this meeting cut and pasted parts from when Srila Prabhupada was speaking about the Ritviks, and then parts when he was speaking about those who would become actual gurus, who he will have given his order to. And they cut and pasted those 2 excerpts together and came up with Srila Prabhupada will soon select some men and they will become regular gurus and initiate their own disciples. That is not at all what Srila Prabhupada had said. They totally left out so many important parts. They left out that they didn't even mention Ritviks, and they didn't, anyway, they left out so many parts. We'll get to that after this analysis of this meeting. But they also left out this most important aspect, that it was on his order, but by his order, that anyone would become an actual guru. At times, the GBC and their supporters have argued that this conversation, especially when Srila Prabhupada says that no one is to become guru in his presence, that in his presence, it's a formality that they initiate on his behalf, that on his order they become guru. Well, some argue that this is Srila Prabhupada's order, that he is giving his order right there, then and there, with these words. To illustrate how illogical that argument is, I've come up with a military analogy, which I will give in an ancillary note. On my order, fire your weapons. You can optionally click on it if you want to view it. In the remaining conversation, Srila Prabhupada has changed his focus, and he is now speaking about those who he will someday give his order to. He is no longer speaking about the Ritviks who will initiate on his behalf.